So Don and James, they came in, obviously as one-year guys. They get their senior day tomorrow. Just, could you talk about kind of the foundation that they've helped lay this first year, kind of what they've done to be able to help establish the future here at Utah?
Yeah, well, first it's kind of interesting having a senior day for guys that have just been here for a year, but they've been great. The two fifth-year guys that we had that played, and hopefully, and that's what we plan on doing is building off this year. A lot to build off of.
What have they kind of meant to you this season?
Well, I think James has kind of been the one guy that's been steady. Like every game, you kind of know what to expect. And I think Don at times has been really good, kind of carried the load for us, helped the younger guys. And it's never easy to. It's interesting. I'm still learning it all for guys to go to a new place for their last year. You'd always hope it'd be, a continuous, but that's not the environment we're in.
Yeah.
You got Lucas back, Lucas back on Saturday versus Arizona State. What does it mean to have him back out there, and just what have you seen from him in his limited minutes? 5 minutes versus BYU, and then when he played on Saturday, that is encouraging for the future.
First of all, it gives us a little more depth. Another ball handler and his passing, but I think there's always a transition when when Americans go to Europe or vice versa, because it's a different game. So I think it's encouraging to see the capabilities, but he's just his passing and dribbling, and he's grown up playing the game, and he's a true student of the game and likes to play.
Babacar isn't one of those that is going to be honored tomorrow. Is there any hope that he's coming back? Is there any more kind of on what his future might hold? Or?
Yeah, no, he was the third, fifth-year guy we had, and obviously he'll get a medical red shirt and have another year, and he's progressing well, and those are, Baba, we'll have to see how it plays out, but Baba's been, even though he hasn't played, he's been a joy to be around and great for us coaches and his teammates. So obviously those discussions will happen after the season.
And this is ignorance on my part, just talking about medical red shirts, would Lucas even be eligible for one of those with how limited he's been this year?
It's a good question. Probably, who knows what the rules are. But I think before we even get into that with him, I think it's just, he wants to play, and I think it's what we have left of this season. I think it'll help him for next year.
As you come down the stretch of your first season as the head coach, what is one, big thing that you've maybe learned about just college basketball, the Big 12 in general, that maybe you didn't know or have as much pressure on knowing when you started the job?
Well, first, it's different. First, going from there's a learning curve going from the pros to college, because college is unique, and then you add on top of that the ever evolving rules and how things work. But we're in I feel like myself and everybody else, we're in a much better place than, obviously we're here now. We weren't here last year. So, I think we have a better sense of the direction we want to go, or actually not necessarily the direction, but how to get there, and learned a lot. And again, that's the same thing with our guys and us, just getting better at everything we do.
In terms of just establishing the culture here, obviously you had a pretty new slate this last season with only Keanu, who came back, that was in the rotation. In terms of how important is continuity going into next year, and trying to, if you had an ideal balance between returning guys and high school or international signees or portal guys, what ideally would you be looking for there?
No, it's a good question that we've asked ourselves. I think we try to explore, there's a lot of different avenues, we try to explore all of them. And, in a perfect world, I think there's a balance of all those. But I think everybody wants to have continuity, have guys come back. Now, there's a lot of factors out of our control to make that happen. But, I think that's the fun thing about college, or used to be, was having a core of guys, or a few guys that you have every year.
We're a month out from the portal opening and stuff, but as you gear up for this portal cycle, what is your philosophy, and what are the key attributes you're looking for as you guys go into this portal cycle?
You know, it might sound simple, but the thing, excuse me, that I always say is, you know, guys that love to play, and because I think if they love to play, then there's a you know, an aptitude to getting better. So, and you know that you can define that in a lot of different ways, but you know, I just look back at the success this place has had for 50 plus years, and there's kind of a type of player that's done well here. So, you know, just guys that love to play and guys that want to be here.
And kind of building off that last portal cycle, it was, you know, you were still putting your staff in place. It was kind of rushed to a certain extent. How do you think it's going to be different knowing this time that everyone's in place, you kind of know what you need when you go into the portal and you're not, you know, rebuilding an entire program? Does it make it easier when you think about going into the portal?
Yeah, because you know, it's something that we've done work on. We're prepared. Like I said, we weren't here at this time last year, but yeah, I think we have a much, you know, because it's just like going through the season. You know, we have a season of playing college basketball, playing against the Big 12, so that helps you as you approach the portal and try to figure out what you need and how those pieces fit together.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right,
Cool.
thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Alex.